Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to our little continuing. There, that's better. Sound is a little bit better on that, I believe. Welcome back to our continuing broadcast on investment, small business, and cash flow, and essentially coming back down to financial independence. And let me grab something real quick. Okay, this is what I wanted to grab. My first book, My Happy Assets. This is basically your instruction manual for financial independence. This is it doesn't walk you through the woods. It just gets straight to the point on how to generate cash flow so you're financially independent. And again, financial independence is when your income from passive asset sources is equal to or greater than your your expenses. Sorry, it's hard to say this. My big prop, but essentially, um, this is your profit and loss statement at the top, and this is your balance sheet at the bottom, pictorially represented. And you've probably, if you're familiar with Rich Dad Poor Dad, you've seen this in his books. But essentially, you want to focus on this column, building assets. If you're a true entrepreneur, you're focusing on this. So really, all this academic stuff that gets in the way of of what truly an entrepreneur is somebody that's able to build their asset column, which is simple. You don't have to be a CPA to understand this. Assets are are things that put money in your pocket, investments that put cash in your pocket. And once this is generating enough cash into your income column, into your profit and loss statement that meets your expenses, then you're financially independent. It's just that simple. And examples of assets that can do this include dividend-paying stocks, include rental property, include intellectual property, such like you might receive royalties on patents or trademarks or books. Also cover call options, a business system, and I've talked about that plenty on. If you're going to create a business, don't just create a job for yourself. Make sure you create a system that can potentially run while you're not there. So this was the first book. That kind of goes into the nuts and bolts. This is available at myhappyassets.com. Let's see if I can bring that up real quick. There's myhappyassets.com. You can order the book here. I think here I have it listed as only $1.99. I think that's for the e-copy. So you can get an e-book, and that's on Lulu as well. Let me see if I can pop that up. So you can order, either a hard copy or an e-book, and of course the price in the e-book is going to be a lot lower. I believe you're only going to pay about $4 to get the electronic copy, which is a fairly reasonable price. I've got to make a little bit of money too, but I'm not there to rip you off. You're getting an electronic copy, so there's no printing costs involved for me. If you order the paperback copy, $15.80 here on Lulu. The same goes for my second book, which was Small Business Coffee Hour, which is here's the website, and that is smallbizcoffee.com. Why don't I just bring this up to full page so you can see it? This real quick. This is my third book. I just finished it up, but it's still going through some editing. This is taking the last steps to financial independence, and big part about that is it's not just about reaching that goal. I mean, once you have enough income coming in to be financially independent, you find that there's still bigger fish to fry, so to say. So you got to answer the questions like, well, what's the real work that I want to be pursuing? And I guess a lot of times you never think you're going to get here, but you will. And I think you should really begin with the end in mind. It's kind of a cliched saying, but if you're truly working on getting to this goal, then you have to start thinking, well, what am I going to do when I get there? And if you're using that with your, with goal setting techniques and whatnot, then that'll probably pull you in that direction even more. While we're here, while we're here today, though, I want to talk a little bit about Warren Buffett. And if you do have an existing business or you're going to start a business, I want to tell you about how to get Warren Buffett interested in your business. I say that figuratively. What I really mean is how to build a business that Warren Buffett would be interested in. And if Warren Buffett were interested in it, then you're probably doing a lot of right things. And the whole basis, my whole argument comes back down to Warren Buffett has been investing successfully for years, for over 50 years now, in businesses with strong underlying fundamentals. And he's turned an initial $105,000 investment into over $40 billion. So when it comes to businesses, he knows, you can't really argue that he knows how to identify good businesses and invest in them. So what I'm purporting to do, and this is in the fourth book that's upcoming, that'll probably be out sometime in June, how does a small business apply those principles? Not from an investing style. I'm not saying you need to go open a stock investing business, but can you take the principles of what he seeks in good businesses and apply them to your business and for success? And one of the main things I get back down to is when I've worked with small business owners in the past, there's always a big question, how do I fix my business, or how do I delve into the operational expenses of the business and refine, how do I get my inventory turn up, or how do I cut costs, how do I cut my cost of goods sold? And those are important questions, but you want to take a step back at first. And you can't argue with Warren Buffett that he's figured out he's got a formula for identifying good businesses. So let's take what's within that formula and apply it to your business. And instead of doing all this, instead of hacking at the trees, let's really look at the bigger picture, but what in my mind is really could be the root of the problem. So make sure that you're in a fundamentally sound business first. And if you apply it, there's no guarantees, but we're always trying to describe this picture of what makes a successful business or a successful investment as well. So let's just jump right in. What I'm going to pull from, what I'm going to use is kind of the outline here, is a blog posting that I made back, I guess this was back in February. And let me just flip this over to the full screen. You don't have to see me all the time. Yeah, this will work. Hello. Check. 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 There we go. Okay. Maybe that's why I should have the headphones on. Okay, well, let's just jump right in. So, the basis of it is, this is a lot of the basis for the fourth book, which is already copyrighted, so don't even think about it. But if you were going to build a business, why not put those Warren Buffett fundamentals into your business? And this information is available out on myhappyassets.info, so you can go out there and see this posting. Again, this was the posting entitled "Warren Buffett is going to get you," and this was from February 4th. And you can also see here's the place where you can order the second book, and the first book is here. So you got links to do that. Order away, please. I'll send you something free, a free T-shirt. But let's just kind of run through it here. I hope you can see this okay. But number one, Warren Buffett looks for a consumer monopoly or a toll bridge. And so what that means is, let's just take it to an example real quick. Coke. So Coke is a consumer monopoly because they've branded their brand in the minds of consumers. So you always think of the red and white colors. You always think of the Coke logo. You always you always picture a red can or the shape of the bottle. Anyway, the bottom line is that is in 20 years, people, more than, I would put money on it, people are still going to be drinking Coke, and that's how Warren Buffett thinks about the company too. They're a consumer monopoly. They spent years, I think, probably at this point over 100 years building their brand, and Coke is basically synonymous with the American flag at this point. So another brand that I've come across recently is Gerber as a consumer monopoly, because we have a 19-month-old baby boy now, and I noticed that Gerber is still the baby food to have, and that goes for the kind of mushy baby food, as well as when they're ramping up, when they hit 1 year old, when they hit that age, and they have Gerber graduates. So I'd kind of research that a little bit, and they're owned by Nestle, and Nestle, if you go to a movie theater and you look in the glass candy case, you'll see Nestle Crunch, and you'll see Raisinets and Goobers and Snow Caps and Wonka, which are all owned by Nestle. Nesquik, Nescafe, Purina. It's just a giant conglomerate of a bunch of consumer monopolies. So you kind of see what we're saying here about a consumer monopoly is a company, like Campbell's Soup, that, barring major catastrophic nuclear fallout, people are still going to be eating Campbell's chicken noodle soup in 20 years. That's what Warren Buffett wants. He wants a company that is going to be around, really strong brand name recognition. He doesn't like to take bets on, say, a startup company, even a company that's as great as Apple. I mean, as competitive as the world of technology is, it's hard to say if iPhone is going to be around in 20 years, or if it'll probably be around, right? But it's hard to say if it'll be the phone in 20 years. So anyway, so consumer monopoly or a toll bridge. So that's the number. So and relating that to your small business real quick. So the question is, well, Adam, how can I become the Coke, sugar water conglomerate of the world, my market? It's not that you have to become the next Coke. It's just that you have to become the next Coke of your local or regional market. You're a small business. So if you had a pizzeria, and inside that pizzeria, at noon every day you had a mariachi band and you have a water slide in there. I'm just trying to throw out a zany example, but how do you distinguish yourself as this brand that is just emblazoned in the minds of consumers? You got to be thinking along those lines, and if you can't, then really you need to think about buying into a consumer monopoly. It's not, franchises aren't a bad thing. You could literally buy a Buffett consumer monopoly such as H&R Block, or maybe even a McDonald's franchise. Toll bridge. A toll bridge means I'm the only newspaper in town, and you have to come to me for advertising. A good example of this is a single movie theater town. If I'm the only movie theater in town, and just looking down the road, no one's going to move in on me because, say, it's a small town, but it's good enough to support my business needs. It provides enough revenue and thus earnings. Then I've got a toll bridge, because if you want to go see a movie, you have to go through me. So that's kind of number one criteria, is either you need to be a consumer monopoly, which is that Campbell's Soup brand or Coke brand of your market, or you need to be the toll